The follow-up is simple. Ask a question, listen to the answer, then follow up. I'm your host, Noah Kozlov. Enjoy. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Follow-Up Podcast. This is the Dad and Daughter series. I'm Noah. This is my 6-year-old daughter, Eden. We've been doing this for about 30 plus weeks, and we do it every week here.
I think it's exactly 31 weeks. I think we've done 6 more since the last time we mentioned it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well then. We do it from her bed here in New York City. Every Monday is a new episode. You can watch them all on vocalnow.com, VOKALnow.com. You can also subscribe, rate, review to the audio version of this on Apple Podcasts. So we suggest you do that and watch it on vocalnow.com. Last week, we said we might be talking about, and I thought we would be, a missing tooth for the first time. Now, the teeth are separated on the bottom 2. There's the big teeth coming in from behind, and there are 2 really, really loose ones. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say 1 is a 9, 1 is a 9.5. So, oh my goodness. Oh, get back here. Get back here. So we are not talking about that yet because
It
hasn't fallen out yet. So maybe
next week.
Maybe next week. Maybe next week. Get your first visit from the Tooth Fairy. We always go back and forth talking about what we might want to talk about, and always trying to come up with different ideas during the week. What do you want to talk about today?
Today, I want to talk about the attack on the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
So every morning, after you wake up, you go to the bathroom, you put on the Today Show.
Yeah.
And we watch it for about half hour, an hour during breakfast, as you're getting ready for school. And Mom and I use our own discretion deciding if there are certain stories that aren't appropriate, but that's rarely the case. Sometimes some things that are said aren't appropriate and you're just not ready for it, so we just turn it off.
Or at least put it on mute.
Sure. There were a bunch of articles written this week, and we got a few from your school, from the guidance counselor, about how to talk to your kids about the attack at the Capitol, if they're feeling certain ways, and one of them was, don't watch the news. I don't subscribe to that, because I think that you should know what is going on to a certain extent. So, what did you learn?
I learned that, this is crazy that he would do this, and this is how he thinks. Our president thinks that this is fine. People can go into the Capitol, no problem. They can do this every day, regular. Which is not true.
It's very, very dangerous.
Very, very dangerous.
And this turned into terrorism.
Yeah.
Something that we've seen in other countries and seen it for years in other countries. And I'll shake my head and think, God, I'm just glad we live in the United States where this doesn't happen. And then
all the time. It's not like this happens every day.
Right, and then it happened. Yeah. They got into
the Capitol.
These terrorists. And
the police weren't ready for it. When people said this is going to happen, and they weren't ready. So it's like they didn't read it when they probably did, but they didn't. It's like they didn't follow.
Right, they didn't follow through on the intelligence that they probably had gathered, but then never acted on it, which is just a crazy breach of security. Mm-hmm. What about, we talked about conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists and this QAnon group that led this charge that Trump has bought into.
His mind, this is the good side on top and this is the bad side's on top of his mind and the good side's on the bottom. So the bottom side, you can't hear anything. But on the top side, that's what you do. So he's on the top side of, you do all the bad things.
Oh, he does all the bad things. Right. So understanding conspiracy theories is difficult, but how do you think about it now?
Well, this is how you taught me. It's these puzzles. This is a puzzle, okay? I have an imaginary puzzle here. Mm-hmm. And they put a piece in here. And they hammer it in. But when it doesn't really fit there, so they're hammering it in to say, look, it fits. And that idea doesn't fit. So that's the crazy idea that goes into a good idea, and they don't go together.
Right. So they have these unfounded ideas that are not steeped in fact at all, and it's a conspiracy theory is just a whole bunch of puzzle pieces that don't fit together, but yet they hammer them in and then say, "Look, it fits," and then a bunch of people who are not well in the mind or mentally unstable then think, "Yeah, oh look, it does fit," and now the president of the United States is believing this stuff and has for a long time.
He loves QAnon.
Mm-hmm.
He loves all those people.
Right, these people that support him, and
Right.
he's very selfish and only thinking about how this impacts him, not the country itself.
Right.
So something that came up in some of those stories was, like, how did it make you feel? Were you scared, worried? What were you feeling
Well,
at the time?
scared for the people at the Capitol because they could have been much worse. They
Mhm.
could have threw bombs at
Mm-hmm.
them because that's what their idea was.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people could have got killed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people would have to hide, so they didn't get that.
Mm-hmm. The people the terrorists who stormed the Capitol could have done a lot worse. I mean, it was horrific and it was awful.
Yeah.
And still, I don't want to say, but it could have been worse. And still, it could have been worse. Like that man who was sitting at
And Nancy Pelosi's death.
Yeah. Like what? I mean, think about what else he
was
could have
thinking?
done. Think about what else he could have done.
He could have took documents from her desk.
Right. He could have stolen documents that were secrets.
He could have threw a bomb out like that area and just like destroyed the whole area there.
Yeah, he could have. He could have. I was surprised that Congress got back in there as soon as they did.
Yeah.
And then not to mention COVID.
Yeah.
No one was wearing masks.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably got COVID. If there's like 500 people in there, I think probably more.
Yeah.
500?
Probably more. Probably more than that, yeah.
Let's say 1,000?
Okay.
Probably like 600 probably got COVID. Maybe less than that.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Like,
Yeah, could have been.
All of those people probably could have got COVID.
Mm-hmm. Does it make you worried about like your own security or yourself feeling safe in like when you're at school or just going into another building?
Not really. Because like the buildings I know are safe. Because I just know.
Right, like your school building, you feel is safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Security.
Right, and you know that the people there will keep you safe.
Right.
And that's what the people inside the Capitol thought as well. But school or the supermarket or dance classes, it's a different story. It's a different story than that.
Right.
Yeah. Were you okay with just hearing about it on the news so much? And were there any questions that you had that you didn't ask yet?
Not really. No questions. But like I'm fine because it's a big thing. So they should be talking about it a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big story. So they have to cover the story. And show it is a problem.
Mm-hmm. And it will continue to be a problem. Yeah.
For a lot of years.
It will be. It will be. All right. Maybe next week we'll have a conversation about your teeth and lighten things up a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Love you.
Thank you so much.